Hello? Hello po.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay na? Okay na?
Okay na po.
Yes,
Okay na po.
Sige, sige. Hina yung globe, I don't know. May I request Ma'am Charlie to please assist me with sharing the screen to everybody kasi I don't think my internet can
Okay po, ma'am.
Sige, thank you. Was everybody able to answer the exam? I apologize also in advance if medyo maingay yung background kasi I'm outside. I'm literally outside my house. Sige.
Kita na po, ma'am.
I believe this is only 47 items. Yes po?
Yes, ma'am. 47 lang po.
Yes po.
Okay. Sige, let's begin. Hindi ko pa nakikita yung questionnaire in my screen.
Di po nyo nakikita.
Hindi pa, ma'am. Ano lang siya, mga folder.
Oh, wait.
Hindi pa po.
Okay po, okay po.
Sige, go.
Opo, ma'am. Kita na. Daw po.
Yan. Sige, zoom natin. Okay na, okay na.
Okay, ma'am.
Is everybody able to see the screen?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Sige, sige. Let's begin. Okay, so number 1, social welfare, which is synonymous to general social well-being, has the following features. Which one is not? So letter A, organized system of social services that addresses the needs of various clientele groups. Letter B, help is focused on the attainment of satisfying standard of life. Letter C, manages social problems and creates opportunities for advancement. Or letter D, aims towards social control and reform. Okay, so the question is basically asking kung alin dito yung hindi totoo when it comes to social welfare and ensuring the general well-being, no? So, bakit letter D po yung answer? Bakit letter D po yung hindi nabibalong or hindi true? It's because social welfare, while it's true na may social control goals naman social welfare, di ba? As you can remember, may humanitarian goal, may economic development goal, at saka yung ano pa, yung social justice, di ba? While it's true that social welfare has a function, no, with regards to ensuring social control and reform, it's not the only goal when we talk about social welfare. Okay, so yung si letter A, B, and C kasi it's mostly ano siya, mas generalized yung notion niya. Pero si letter D, nakafocus lang daw siya kang social control and reform. So that's why letter D is the answer. Okay. Sandali. Try kong Sige. I'm going to try and re-enter. Kasi medyo mahirap sa labas. 1, 2, 3, 8, 5. Sige, number 2. From a broader perspective, the systematic arrangement of social services includes social legislations, policies, and programs that ensure or strengthen provisions for meeting social needs recognized as basic to the well-being of the population. So this is the definition or one of the definitions of social welfare. So the social work, it's the profession. It's a profession that is it's one of the helping professions that ensure the social well-being of the members of the society. Iba rin yung definition ni social policy at saka ni social networking. Okay. Sige, number 3. An organization, public or private or quasi-public, which provides programs and services to promote the well-being of individuals, groups, and communities experiencing some difficulty in the management of their affairs. So, hindi po DSWD yung answer, although si DSWD naman, it's a public organization, it's a public agency, it's a government agency, no? Pero the best answer here is social agency or social welfare agency. So letter C. Letter C po yung answer. Okay, number 4. Okay, number 4. The following conditions are characterized by inability to sustain life without assistance from the government and the community and the unequal distribution in income that promotes social and economic classes among the population. So we have items. Number 1, absolute poverty. Number 2, relative poverty. Number 3, transient poor. Number 4, discrimination. So what's asked here is the inability to sustain life without assistance from the government and the community and unequal distribution in income. So this is both present in absolute poverty and relative poverty. As far as I can remember now, absolute poverty, kasi ito si absolute poverty at saka si relative poverty, they can be both, two ways of understanding poverty. Because social scientists and sociologists and economists, they have, wala pa kasing tawag nito, consensus kung ano talaga yung definition ng poverty. That's why they have many ways of understanding poverty. And if we say absolute poverty, usually this means na individuals or families or households are unable to sustain their daily needs. Hindi sila makasustain sa kanilang needs like food, shelter, education. They don't have access to services, and usually si absolute poverty may defining characteristics at saka may definite na mga characteristics siya in which it helps people define kung sino yung mga nabilong sa absolute poverty. Whereas si relative poverty naman, it's also one way of understanding poverty. Si relative poverty kasi, notion niya, it's depending on the context, depending on the area, or depending on the locality or the situation kung saan nakasituate yung household or yung family. Iba-iba kasi yung understanding ng poverty, iba-iba kasi yung ano ang tawag? Yeah. What's poor in this country may not be poor in other countries. So parang ganun yung connotation ni relative poverty. Pero they are in the same in the sense na may conditions sila na nabilong si household either in absolute poverty or in relative poverty. Because number one, they are not able to meet the minimum standard of life without the assistance from government. They're not able to sustain they're not able to sustain as a quality of life without the help from other people or without these services or without external help. So yan yung parang common ground ni absolute poverty and relative poverty. That's why ang answer po is letters 1. That's why answer po is letter C, both absolute poverty and relative poverty. Si transient poor kasi is si transient poor is ano tawag nito? Either si individual or si household naging poor for a short period of time, tapos they're able to rise up again, or si household before hindi sila poor tapos may nangyari so naging poor sila. So yan yung definition ng transient poor. Okay. Pero si absolute poverty and relative poverty usually nasa below kasi sila ng poverty line. Okay. Number 5, this is the history of social welfare. Wait. Okay, number 5. This was established in Munich, yeah, to prevent begging by able-bodied paupers. Letter A, military workhouse. Letter B, Hamburg experiment. Letter C, common chest. Letter D, Elberfeld system. So the answer is letter A. This institution, it employed yung mga beggars. So what they usually did is they made new clothing for soldiers. So tapos they're able to earn from their work in the military workhouse. Okay. Number 11. Darren Espalto. Hello?
Wala, ma'am.
Okay. Sige, go. Darren Espalto wanted to learn
6 kasi
about
ma'am.
the event.
11.
Okay. 11. So this is number 60 ay. Sandali ha. I'm going to try and connect from baka kaya niya.
Okay lang yan, ma'am.
Ay, nako. Ang hirap ng buhay kapag mahina signal. Wait. Ma'am Charlie, I'm going to try and share my screen ha. Sandali po.
Okay, ma'am.
Sige, thank you.
Stop ko na po yung sharing screen ko po. Ma'am.
Hi. Am I audible?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Sige. Try ko share ng screen ko. Parang friends na kami ng wifi namin. Can you see my screen, ma?
Yes po.
Yehey! Sige, sige. Saan nga tayo? Number 6. Sige, balik tayo. Sige. Number 6, Darren Espalto. Nag-decide siya na mag-career change at naging researcher siya. Darren Espalto wanted to learn about the events that led women with children to seek emergency shelter and what it was like for them to live in an emergency shelter. The kind or classification of research he will conduct is letter A, descriptive research, letter B, explanatory research, letter C, exploratory research, or letter D, evaluative research. Bakit exploratory po? You can parang you can you can ang tawag nito. Nakakalimutan ko yung term. You can say na letter C po yung answer because the researcher, he wanted to learn about the events. Please don't be confused with explanatory research and exploratory ha. Although sometimes they can be done together. Pero sa exploratory research, you conduct research because you wanna know about something na hindi mo pa nalalaman or wala pa masyadong research about this, wala pa masyadong data about this, wala pa masyadong information about this. And you have no very little to none pa ang I wouldn't say very little. Basta you want to explore this you want to explore this type of research, you want to explore this type of problem or issue or concern. Yung explanatory naman, sige, example, na-explore mo na. You can then proceed to explain it. You get it? So, exploratory, gusto mo lang i-explore yung problem. Yung explanatory, you already know the situation or the problem. And your goal is to explain kung why certain problems or why this certain situation exists. So take number 7, for example. Bulgari Valenciano worked on homelessness and conducted research as to understand why people become homeless. So this kind of research is explanatory research. Kasi ang ginawa ni Valenciano, he wanted to know the reasons behind homelessness. While si Darren naman, he wanted to explore kung ano yung experiences ni women with children sa emergency shelter. So, exploratory precedes explanatory research. So, parang mas una sa exploratory. Na-gets po ba? Yung si evaluation research. Ito si number 8. Chocolate Hills na group. They conducted a 4-year study comparing housing first and then the treatment first program. So they did comparisons. So they did a comparison study yung before and after na type of research. So that's evaluative or evaluation research. They compare if yung treatment na nangyari or the treatment that was conducted to the client system or kung or yung program mismo, is it effective, is it efficient? So that's the purpose of evaluation research. Okay. Number 9. Lucky. Para siyang, explanatory is how, it can be. Okay, number 9. Lucky Tino and Ray Parker used an interview guide with directors of 6 women and children in shelters to understand the kinds of services needed by women and children who are victims of abuse, and then sent a mail survey to the directors of 600 shelters in order to augment their quantitative data. The method used by the researcher is, okay, so obvious naman to, it's letter B, because the researchers, they first conducted interview with 6 informants, and then they conducted a survey to 600 basically 600 directors. So sinusupport yung interview or results of the interview with the results of the survey. Okay. Number 10. When the study used methods such as participant observation, intensive interviewing, and focus groups that are designed to capture social life as participants experience it, rather than in categories predetermined by researchers, it is called A, quantitative method, B, participatory action research, letter C, action research, or letter D, qualitative. So this is letter D. Sa question pa lang, it indicated method. So X na, C, B, and C. These are types of research. Kung paano mo ginawa yung research mo, that's either quantitative or qualitative or both. Ayan. Number 11. This exists when finding about one group or population or setting hold true for other groups or population or settings. This is also called external validity. Okay. Ito si cross-population generalism. Basta, si letter B. When the results of your study is applicable to other populations, for example, yung research mo, example? Sige, pang-international. So, let's say, for example, an international independent na research na institution, they conducted a study, and yung participants nila coming from developed countries, or they got yung participants nila coming from many populations para well represented yung mga populations. Para yung results ng kanilang study, it can be applicable to more than one population, more than one group, more than one setting. So for example, you're conducting, sige, here in the Philippines, you're conducting a research and your participants, you have participants coming from Luzon, you have participants coming from Visayas and Mindanao. So kung ano yung research na ginawa mo with Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and yung magiging results ng study mo, it can be applicable to your participants living in Visayas. Yung results you conducted with Luzon, it can be applicable to Visayas, it can be applicable to Mindanao. Likewise, kung ano yung results that arose from your study in Visayas, it can be applicable to Luzon, it can be applicable to Mindanao. So parang ganun yung parang ganun yung cross-population generalism. And yan yung this is also referred to as external validity. So ideally, your results should also parang may ganito na element, si external validity. Parang the more valid it is, so the more believable it is. Parang ganun. Sana all. Okay. Number 12, This research starts with a theory and then some of its implications are tested with data. So this is deductive research. Um, Deductive research is it's more qualitative in nature, while inductive research naman it's more quantitative in nature. So, um, for example, anong example? With, sige, for example, you conducted a study with, you conducted a study wherein your participants are women who are living in children, neglected children who are living in a temporary shelter. So example, yan yung study mo. If you are making use of deductive reasoning, yung tenor ng study mo parang ano yung experiences ng mga bata sa temporary shelter. Ano yung mga experiences ng how are they feeling, ano yung level of satisfaction nila, ano yung level of well-being nila, parang ganun. Whereas, if inductive research naman, or if inductive reasoning yung, you took an inductive reasoning with that study, so parang yung direction ng study mo, it's more on data, gathering of data, ano yung more numerical siya ang data mo. Okay. Sige. So number 13, the higher the poverty rate in a community, the higher the percentage of community residents who are homeless. This is an example of hypothesis, letter A. So, sige. In this statement, nasan dito si independent variable? Can somebody identify? May dalawang variables tayo. May independent, may dependent.
Yung the higher the percentage of community residents.
Okay. Yan yung,
Independent variable.
sige, why po na independent siya?
Nakasa doon sa higher the poverty. Nakakonect siya doon. Kasi ang dependent variable dyan, ma'am, alam ko yung higher the poverty rate in a community.
Yung poverty rate. Okay.
Kung higher yung poverty rate, maapektuhan tong percentage ng community.
So, yung poverty rate dependent siya sa dami ng residents who are homeless.
Yes po.
Okay, sige. Yes, correct. So the more people who are homeless, the higher the poverty rate. Okay. Sige. So the answer in number 13, it's letter A. Medyo confusing siya, no? Okay. Sige, number 14. Which among the following are the evaluation and research standards which are included in the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics? Letter A, research should cause no harm to participants. B, the benefits of a research project should outweigh the foreseeable risks. Letter C, findings should be reported accurately and errors later found should be corrected. Letter D, participation in research should be voluntary and participants should be informed of their rights to withdraw at any time without penalty. So obviously, lahat naman to kasali siya sa Code of Ethics when conducting research. So the answer is letter A. Okay. Number 15. It refers to any work or economic activity performed by a child that subjects him or her to any form of exploitation or is harmful to his or her health and safety or physical, mental, or psychosocial assessment. So this is letter A, child labor. Any work or economic activity that is harmful to a child. So may mga yung child stars naman din, nagtatrabaho naman din sila, pero dapat regulated, dapat they have time to play, they have time to rest, they have time for their schooling. So, pero kapag child labor, I think we have laws. We have child labor laws naman din that criminalize yung abuse of a child when it comes to economic activities. Ine-exploit mo na yung bata for economic gain. Okay. Number 16, it is the maltreatment, whether habitual or not, of a child, which includes any of the following: psychological and physical abuse, neglect, cruelty, sexual abuse, and emotional maltreatment. So the answer here is letter D. I think you can find the definition of abuse in Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. And yung VAUSI. Please be familiar with the definition of terms. Okay, number 17, it is the employment, use, persuasion, inducement, enticement, or coercion of a child to engage in sexual intercourse or less, or conduct, bad conduct, or the molestation, prostitution, or incest with children. So this is letter C, child sexual abuse. Okay. Number 18, these measures are aimed at enhancing employment, opportunities, and protection of the rights of the welfare of workers. Employment enhancing measures include trade policies and skills development and training. So, the answer here is labor market intervention. Bakit hindi po siya insurance? Because hindi naman, it's not focused on social insurance, but more on ensuring employment opportunities and protection of the workers, no? Si letter C and T parang synonymous naman sila. So, parang si economic, this is geared towards economic development goals. So, in order to achieve a healthy economy, you have to protect the employees. So, labor market interventions yan. Number 19, the following are the elements of the social protection framework. Which one is not? So, bakit letter D? Sustained standard of living in spite of exposure to risks. So, yung sa social protection framework natin, wala yang kino-compromise na individual or situation. So that's why letter D is the answer here. Hindi siya included. The social protection framework, it identifies response to major risks and vulnerabilities. It identifies and responds to targets and sectors who are, most especially sectors who are vulnerable and marginalized. Letter C, working towards universal coverage. Yan. Number 20, DSWD internally started to orchestrate its social protection programs, and this is called letter B, Convergence Program. Ano yung mga programs na nasa convergence? Can somebody identify sa DSWD? Ano yung tatlo?
Pantawid Pamilya,
Okay. Ano pa?
SLP,
Okay.
Kalahi,
Okay. Correct. Yan yung convergence programs in DSWD. Under the banner of social protection. So it aims to holistically address the needs of our Filipinos, no? Especially the poorest of the poor. Yan yung target ng convergence programs natin. Okay. Number 21, this setting provides an approximation of family life under guidance of trained staff, but it is used as a last recourse, resorted to in the absence of foster families. Okay. So this is letter D, residential or institutional care. Keyword mo dyan is my trained staff. So, obviously, kung may staff, may institution. So that's why letter D yung answer. But yeah, we have residential facilities and we have temporary shelters, and this is used as the last resort, as well as adoption. Adoption is before, parang marami ka pang i-undergo before you before we totally decide na okay, this child needs to be referred for adoption. So ito kasi yung mga services natin, in as much as possible, parang last resort na siya, no? We want to anong tawag na to? Exhaust. Oh yeah, we have to exhaust what we can, so that we can also capacitate our client system, no? Hindi lang tayo basta-basta nag-suspend ng resources. Most especially if based on our assessment, there are other strategies or there are other means or there are other sources pa so that we can address the needs. But in this case, foster care, adoption, putting children, women, or vulnerable individuals in residential institutions serve as last resort kapag kailangan na talaga. Number 22, which among the following contexts is not correct? Letter A. Policies and programs should be developed based on an adult's understanding so that it will become more integrated and holistic. Bakit wrong po to? So this is, if you can read the other choices, no? Children, children, children. So, syempre parang naiiba sa letter A. So you can deduce na the context that is being referred to by the question here is programs and policies or welfare, rights and welfare of the child. So bakit A po yung mali, A po yung hindi included? Because if we can recall, one of the rights of a child is being able to participate and being able to express also kung ano yung mga hinaing niya. And policies and programs should be developed based on kung ano yung kinakailangan ng child. So we consult with children, we have activities, we do consultation, we do child-friendly consultation, play activities para yung policies and programs natin talagang swak na swak para sa mga bata. Kasi iba yung perspective ni adult eh. Iba yung needs ni adult, iba din yung needs ng mga bata. So very special yung very particular and special talaga yung mga needs ng bata. That's why we have to work with them. So that's why letter A po ang wrong dito. But it's the answer. Okay. Letter B, children who participate in various activities gain more exposure to social realities and they realize their important role in the society. So, porket bata lang, hindi na sila ini-include. So, mali po yan. When children interact with people, their capacities are developed and they discover new strengths, limitations, and potentials. It's true. The right to participate enables children to express what they think and feel on the matters that are important to them. Ayan. Okay, number 23. The following non-government agencies were included in the core group formation in 2005. A follow-up at the regional consultation study. Which one is not? Ooh, okay. So this is ano yung mga non-government agencies dito. So see, Council for the Welfare of Children, this is a government agency. This is the national council that is responsible for advocating policies and more on advocacy kasi yung si Council for the Welfare of Children. Ayan. Letters A, B, and C are non-government agencies. So this is just for the information of everybody. Bakit walang comma? Dapat may comma to. Okay. Number 24. A blank is a more comprehensive, involving a series of interlocking activities or projects for the achievement of key organizational goals or strategic objectives. So, nasa project management na tayo. So, the answer is letter A. A program is more comprehensive. It's composed of activities, projects, mas general at saka mas broad yung goal niya. And it's lodged in kung ano yung goals or objectives ng agency mo. So, for example, with DSWD, we have a mission vision statement as well as our key objectives. And in order for the agency to achieve those objectives, we initiate programs. So, sa mga programs naman, may mga projects or may mga activities na nakalodge sa isang program. So that's why si number 25, a project is a much more discrete undertaking, usually focused on some aspect of the overall program. So much smaller siya and tangible usually yung kanyang results. But not in all cases, you know. For example, with the Kalahi Seeds program. So Kalahi Seeds is the program and lodged in that program is yung mga projects nila na ina-undertake nila. So for isa na dyan yung ano ba tawag nito? Construction projects, working with communities and identifying kung ano yung mga needs nila. So, yeah. Hindi program media na sa group 4 to ha. And intervention plan, it's generally in the helping process. Okay. Number 26, which is the correct sequence of the stages of project cycle? Yan, medyo nalilito ako dito. Okay, we have appraisal, implementation, problems or needs identification, evaluation, impact assessment, monitoring, project designing, and planning. Okay, so the correct answer here is 3. Okay, let's arrange this. 3. Wait. Tapos si 7. Tapos si 1. Makita natin. Ay, ayun na, wala. So we have three. So we have problem or needs identification. Sunod, number 7. Project, designing, or spelling, or planning. Sunod, appraisal. Na-appraise mo yung design mo. Tapos, if there's something wrong with the design, you have to restructure it. You have to correct what you need to correct. And then, when it is functional na, when it is good to go na, we then begin with the implementation. Kasi yung implementation, ayun. Implementation.
Mahina na yung boses mo.
Okay.
Parang bulong na lang.
Implementation.
Thank you.
So kapag based on your appraisal with your design or your project, your project design, if good to go na siya, you then proceed with implementation. That's what I'm saying. Sunod ni number 2 is number 6. Monitoring. Monitoring? Yeah. You monitor the progress of your project. If okay pa ba? If okay ka pa. If okay pa ba yung nag-i-implement? If okay pa ba yung project? If it's still functioning? And then you evaluate kapag na-reach na yung goal. Number 4. Now, when the project has reached its end, no, you then conduct an impact assessment. Ano yung impact ng project? Was it a waste of time? Was it effective? Ayan. So, yan yung arrangement niya. Chadadang! This is the stages of project cycle. So, if you look at it closely, para na rin siyang helping process, no? So, this is basically assessment. You identify kung ano yung needs. You identify the possible causes of the problem. And then you plan the intervention. And then you implement, you monitor, you evaluate until you reach, until such time na pwede na i-terminate. Ayan. Okay, so number 27. Which among the following concepts is incorrect? Letter A, there is a need for a more deliberate efforts on the part of the member agencies to integrate child protection program thrusts and priorities into their respective annual investment plans. Okay, that's also true. So in all aspects, no, it has to be child friendly, most especially if most especially if one of the receiving ends is yung mga kabataan natin. Letter B, evidence-based policies, programs, guidelines, procedures for child protection are only possible with the existence of accurate, updated, and disaggregated database and information system. So, I cannot stress how important it is to keep a comprehensive and updated database. No? Based on my experience now with my work, talagang mahirap mag-proceed with your work if you don't have enough knowledge or enough data sa current status ng sector that you're handling. So, basis kasi ng crafting of policies and programs is yung data mismo, coming from the grassroots, uh, up until sa higher levels. Okay, letter C, activating and strengthening and sustaining local councils for the protection of children, particularly Barangay Council for the Protection of Children, has remained a challenge. Hindi ko yan na-pronounce. Perennial challenge. Yes, it is true, and it's going to be also challenging, especially now that we are going to be cascading social welfare programs to our local government, no, sa local government units. So fully devolving our programs and services, this has been our challenge since the 90s, diba? Based on local government code RA 7160. Yeah, RA 7160. And it remains a challenge up until now. How we can strengthen our yung mga protective na bodies for children, no? Especially in the barangay level and in the municipal and municipal level. So we have to strengthen talaga our LGUs when it comes to in preparation for the full devolution of our programs and services. So why letter D po yung incorrect? Adjudication of child abuse cases has been finalized. Sana all na-finalize na lahat. And adopted comprehensive protocols on case management of child victims of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. So hindi po yan totoo. Hindi pa po, wala namang finalization. Nag-adjudicate ka pa, finalize na pala. So, wordplay lang tong letter D na to. Adjudication of child abuse cases employs the principle of individualization. Each case is different, and kung ano man lang yung resulta ng how you adjudicate each case, it's different from the other. So, yan. Okay, number 28. Government should respect the rights and responsibilities of families to direct and guide their children so that as they grow, they learn to use their rights properly. And this concept is based on the right of the child under the Convention to parental guidance, survival and development. This is also one of the concepts of the rights of the children. Family reunification, ano to? When the child is pulled out of the home and then i-assess kung pwede ba si child ibalik sa family. So that's family reunification. But the answer here is letter B, parental guidance. Parental guidance is advice. So we employ methods and protocols para malaki kasi yung role ng parents tsaka yung family when it comes to protecting the rights of the child, kasi sila yung may direct na influence and interaction with the child, no? So that's why it's emphasized in the rights of the children, yung parental guidance. Okay. 29. This includes the analysis of needs, interests, strengths, weaknesses of key stakeholders and beneficiaries. So this is project development and management. Okay, so this is letter C, situational assessment. So parang nagkakandak ka ng SWOT, no? Ano yung needs, ano yung strengths, ano yung mga resources, ano yung nasa stakeholders. So, in order for you to have a full view of the situation, so you conduct situational assessment. Yung needs assessment naman, number 30, it's focusing on the things that are not met and kung ano yung needs at saka ano yung desired conditions or wants. So, depende na yan sa problema, no, kung anong kailangan i-assess dyan. Usually both para mas comprehensive yung assessment mo. Okay. Number 31. Government should take steps to stop children being taken out from their own country illegally. This article is particularly concerned with parental abductions. The Convention's optical protocol on the sale of children, child prostitution, and child pornography has a provision that concerns abductions and financial gain. Well, this concept is based on the right of the child to be protected against kidnapping. So, I think this is one of the pillars of Convention on the Rights of the Children. No, may protocols kasi yung Convention of the Rights of the Children. Please read United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Children. Yung principles of the rights of the children, and ito sila. This one. Yung protocols. It's a good read. And it may come out of the board exam. Pero last time, hindi naman siya lumabas. This is just for the information of everybody. Okay, number 32. The responsible agency, which is primarily responsible for ensuring participation of women as recipients in foreign aid, grants, and loans, it shall determine and recommend the amount to be allocated for the development activity involving women. So the answer here is letter D, the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA. Ayan. So your keyword here is responsible agency. Ayan. Ito. I think the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, kung sa wala namang national organization for women. Pero yung government kasi, we have commissions and councils dedicated for each sector, no? So meron sa women, meron sa children, meron sa PWD, meron sa senior citizens. So we have national councils and commissions for each sector. So please read about that now. But the answer here is NEDA. Okay. Partners kasi natin si NEDA, no? Si DSWD and NEDA. Number 33. This is the focal interagency body of the Philippine government for children's concerns. So again, this is Council for the Welfare of the Children. Sila yung focused on working with agencies the government. So kung sa children, we have Council for the Welfare of the Children. Sa PWD, we have National Council on Disability Affairs. Sa older persons, we have um ano pa ngayon sa older persons? Nakalimutan ko. Basta you also read about that for each sector. Ano yung mga councils or commissions for each sector. Pero for the children, ito po. Council for the Welfare of Children. I'm not sure kung ano yung sa women. Is it National Commission? Ay, parang ano yun? Parang letter B. Philippine Commission on Women. Because I read somewhere na bago kasi yan. But if you can research also, I think it's letter B, Philippine Commission on Women. Okay. Number 34. Oh, bilis natin. Am I going too fast? I feel like I'm going too fast.
Okay lang po, ma'am.
Okay lang. Sige, wala kayong no choice. Joke. If you have any questions or clarifications, let's go back para we can always go back to the question naman para ma-clarify. Number 34, which among the following national laws of the Philippines are legal basis for the implementation of temporary shelter assistance and prioritization of victims of disaster and internally displaced person? RA 10121, I think this is establishment of NDRRMC. Yeah. So let's include it. Check yan. The Republic Act 7160, this is a local government code wherein all levels, no, especially yung mga urbanized, highly urbanized na mga cities and municipalities should allocate certain budgets, no, mag-allot talaga sila ng percentage sa budget para in response to disaster. Ayan. So temporary shelter assistance. Ayan. Expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010. Is this RA 9? Ayan, kalimutan ko na. Wait, labanan ng Orange Book. In Expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010, it gives the law basically it basically also naka-indicate kasi sa Senior Citizens Act law yung mga benefits at saka yung mandates na prioritized yung mga senior citizens at saka yung mga persons with disabilities, especially the most vulnerable sectors talaga when it comes to disaster. So we have internally displaced persons protection programs in place para in response to disasters. And also we have Magna Carta for Women wherein the welfare and the rights of women should be protected regardless kung ano yung nangyayari. So most especially in disasters na yung mga kababaihan talaga. Marami namang women and children are prone to abuse and gender-based violence na mga cases. Most especially sa disaster or crisis na mga situations. So that's why we consider all of these, and hindi lang to sila but there are many other laws, social welfare laws that serve as basis for programs and services in response to disaster. Ayan. Number 35. Supervision is an administrative function which aims to enable the supervisor to become a better supervisor. Sana all. Letter B, supervisee to be more effective in delivering social services. Letter C, supervisor to exercise her functions towards the supervisee And letter D, supervisee to accept supervision from her designated supervisor. So ito naman nangyayari naman to lahat, but the best answer here is letter B. Para yung tao na sinusupervise mo, yung under your supervision when you're handling a unit or you belong in an agency at saka ikaw yung supervisor. Yung main goal talaga dyan is the services and the services are being delivered efficiently and effectively, and at the same time, the people who are working in that agency are doing their job functions. So yan yung coverage ng supervision. Number 35. Wait. Balikan natin number 35. Ay, okay. Na-skip ko pala. Sige. Number 35. Management as an element of administration is concerned with letter A, administrative process in a social welfare agency. Letter B, setting up the framework for different units in social agency. Letter D, process of identifying the goals of an agency. So management as an element of administration, it's letter C, allocation and utilization of resources. So dalawa kasi yung elements ng administration. We have management and ano yung isa?
Organization.
Ano yan?
Organization.
Yes, organization. So si organization, si letter B. Sineset up mo yung kung ano yung structure ng administration mo. Whereas si letter B si letter C naman, how do you spend and how do you make use of the resources of what you have in your agency? Paano mo ina-allocate, paano mo dinidistribute yung resources nyo in the agency? Okay. So, tapos na tayo. 35, 36, no? 37 na tayo. Okay. Staffing involves recruitment, hiring, placement of workers for the purpose of letter A, maximizing efficiency and economy and achieving the goals of the agency. Well, letter B, advancing the worker to a better job or position. Letter C, training workers required for the adequate performance of their tasks. Or letter D, placing the right person for the right job. So the best answer here is letter D. And nangyayari naman to si letter B at C kasi it's also under staffing, no? Yung professional development. But staffing is basically finding the right person for the right job. Okay. Malapit naman tayo. Gusto niyo pa mag-break? Or should we press on?
Tingnan na lang, ma'am.
Sige, tapusin na natin. Okay. Sige. Number 38. Records are permanent accounts of an event in an agency and are used primarily, letter A, for public relations or propaganda for the agency. Letter B, for administrative purposes, research, training, teaching, and supervision. Letter C, for information upward and downward. For letter D, for records purposes. So, syempre, yung answer is letter B. Kasi siya yung mataas. Sige. So, syempre, yung theme naman natin in social work, I know you've already heard of this, but if it's not documented or if it's not recorded, then it didn't happen. So in the context of an agency and in the context of social work administration, so yung records keeping, it's a very integral function of an administration. So working in the SWD, may ibang unit talaga yung records. Tsaka puro papel yung records. Lahat ng units sa isang agency, Based na sa DSWD ha, puro papel yung nakikita ko dyan. Puro records. And nakatrack talaga lahat yung records, naka-file yan, naka-organize yan lahat. Para matrack mo yung progress ng agency mo, matrack mo yung sino yung mga beneficiaries mo, ano yung status ng allocation of your funding, ano yung basis nyo for your research, ano yung basis nyo for publication of your success stories, ano yung basis nyo for conducting professional development trainings. So yun. Very important ang records keeping. Number 39. In the private sector, policy making is the responsibility of board of trustees or board of directors. So in private agencies, usually board of directors yung nasa taas. And yan. Depende na kasi yan sa private sector kasi mas private sectors are more flexible with their administration. Whereas yung gobyerno medyo bureaucratic kasi yung gobyerno. We have so many processes pa to follow. Number 40. One of the duties of the public relations officer is, letter A, participating in the formulation of policies and programs. Letter B, providing support and assistance to workers. Letter C, providing information about the agency, programs, and services. Letter D, checking and reporting on performance. So the correct answer here is letter C, public relations officer. So yung function ng public relations, it's to maintain external relations, especially to its partner agencies, sa mga stakeholders, sa iba't ibang organizations, especially also to the client system that the agency is serving. So they are nagpo-post ng information, they are also responsible with transparency, how transparent their information is and how accurate it is. So yan yung functions ng public relations. Tsaka public relations, it also is very important kasi sige, chat ko na lang mamaya. Nakalimutan ko yung term. Pero public relations, it's also very important when you create connections with other agencies and when you're promoting programs and services. So very crucial din yung public relations. Okay, number 41. Classifying the expenditures based on an analysis of objectives and resources and the interrelations among them to achieve a comprehensive program of action is letter D, program planning and budgeting system based on the analysis of objectives and resources and the interrelations among them. Ayan. So when you are crafting and when you are planning, nakabase yan kung ano yung na-determine yun na goals and objectives. Your programs are based on the goals and objectives that you have identified at saka kung ano yung available na budget at resources nyo. So, lahat yun ng mga functions in administration, connect yan. Di mo pwede tanggalin yung isa. So, ito si line item budgeting at saka si cost benefit analysis. This is in the administrative function of budgeting. Financial management yan. So, The correct answer here is letter D. Letter D. Okay. Number 42. Private welfare agencies or non-government organizations are characterized by the following, excluding I would hello?
Hindi po ba letter D sa question?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, ma'am.
Functions and programs are created by law. Kasi more inclined to sa government agencies. 'Di ba yung mga private agencies and NGOs kailangan mag-register sa SEC. Sige, let's fact check this one.
Yes po, ma'am.
Nako, may bonus na tayo.
Yes. Di rin sagot ko, ma'am.
Okay. Patay. Sige. Gawin natin tong green. So, private welfare agencies and NGOs. Yeah, they yung si letter A, C, much more kasi sila eh. Yan yung sinabi ko, much more flexible sila, and they also have their own resources and they can also craft their own bylaws. Yan, constitution and bylaws. So, given this, para ma-regulate din yung mga private agencies and NGOs, they have to be registered to SEC. So, may bonus na tayo. Ito yung correct answer.
Ma'am, yan po yung naguluhan po ako dyan eh. Sabi ko itatanong ko po yan kasi private agency po din kami. One of ako po yung isa sa mga board of director sa agency namin.
Okay.
Kaya na-confuse po ako. Kaya sabi ko bakit hindi ni-required? Required naman po lahat eh basta siya, mga welfare agency.
See, so I apologize, baka namali ko lang yung indicating ko. Ano po yung agency na belong niyo, ma'am? From what agency po? Okay.
For adoption po kami, ma'am.
Okay.
Casa de Bambini dito po sa may Cavite.
Okay. So private agency po siya. So we have many private agencies sa in the field of child and youth welfare. So maraming magagandang private agencies dito sa Philippines. Okay, so let's proceed. Number 43. The supervisory relationship can be best described as letter A, social relationship between supervisor and supervisee. Letter B, interdependent relationship with both parties having responsibilities. Letter C, dependent relationship with the supervisor. Or letter D, professional relationship between management and supervisor. So, syempre, wrong na to si letter C. Hindi naman dependent relationship. Hindi naman pwede sa lahat ng panahon, dependent ka lang sa supervisor mo. So, X na si C. Letter A naman, medyo broad naman to. Hindi naman, you don't have a social, your relationship with your supervisor or your relationship with your supervisee, it's more of a, in a work context rather than social, no? But it can still be considered as a social relationship. Pero vague, parang vague kasi itong si letter A. Tapos si letter D naman, it's not a professional relationship between management and supervisor, but it's a professional relationship between supervisor and supervisee, wherein the supervisee, the supervisee the supervisor cannot do her job if hindi na-ensure niya na si supervisee is doing his or her job well. And at the same time, hindi naman the supervisee won't be able to work properly if hindi naman maganda hindi naman maganda yung performance ni supervisor. Hindi responsive si supervisor. So, it's an interdependent relationship with both parties because both of them have responsibilities and they both have targets, they both have job functions. So yeah, letter B. Number 44. Among the components of a social system, the throughout is the A, the M's, manpower, money, methods, materials, etc. Letter B, programs and services to achieve agency's goals. Letter C, the conversion process of inputs to outputs. Or letter D, interrelationships of components of the different units. Itong number 4, this is basically the system, no? If you are to illustrate kung ano yung image ng administration. It's the input and output process. This is in page 14 of your administration, supervision, and social work book, or you can take a look at systems model. Systems in a sense na si input, yan yung manpower, money, methods, materials. And then yung process and how this is being converted and how this is being put into use, yan yung throughout. And then yung outputs is yung programs niyo. Ano yung programa ng agency niyo? Ano yung what are you offering to the client system? So that's basically your output. Okay. Sige. So the answer is letter C, the conversion of inputs to outputs. Okay. Number 45. Wait, may chat tayo. Yeah, throughput process. Correct. Ano po yung answer sa 42? Was this ano? Were we able to answer number 42? Okay. Yan pala yung bonus. Sige. Number 45. The following are principles of policy determination excluding letter A, policy must be based on agency purpose. Letter B, policy should be expressed in positive form. That's true. Letter C, the entire agency should participate in policy formulation. Or letter D, policy recommendations should come from the board of directors. While this is policy recommendations should come from board directors. Why letter D po yung answer? I think this is applicable to private agencies. Diba? Kasi usually policy recommendations or yung formulation of policies, it occurs in the level of board directors po.
Sa board of directors po, ma'am. Galing.
Okay. And yung sa letter C naman, this usually happens in a democratic na administration. So there are agencies na bottom up or top down na bottom up na policy formulation, no. They take into consideration kung ano yung opinions and contributions ng employees ng agency. So Nako, may isang bonus na naman tayo.
Di mo
Excluding
parang
po.
negative yan, ma'am? Yung
Excluding
45.
po kasi.
Oh,
Yeah,
excluding.
excluding.
Dapat ang letters yung aalisin dyan, ma'am. Ang hindi kasama.
So, ano kasi my problem here is this can also be true. The entire agency should participate in policy formulation. If your concern is the terminology na should or must, this is present in all of the choices. So, hindi mo na yan
Excuse me po.
you can't
The
cancel that one.
interagency should participate in policy formation. Kailangan, tama ba?
Sa akin, ma'am, kay parang tama man din, ma'am, na yung policy based talaga siya sa lahat, ma'am, na mag-participate. Kasi sa NGO namin, ma'am, pag magawa ng policy, ma'am, lahat man din kami parang democratic
Okay.
kung ito ba ay tama or mali. Pero
Yeah.
siguro,
Not all
ma'am,
siguro, ma'am. Kasi
Yeah,
may
not all,
NGO na
oo.
hindi eh. Hindi kami
May
kasama sa baba eh. Nasa taas lang. Tapos bababa lang sa down. Yung policy.
May agencies na nag-employ agencies which are democratic
Yes po.
in nature. While ito naman, usually sa ano to? Private, no? Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Private.
agencies. Not all. Pero for the most part, no. So, D would be the answer if may terminology tayo na should only come. 'Di ba?
Tama po,
wala
ma'am.
naman. So, in this case, to answer the question, the following are the principles of policy determination. Totoo naman na kailangan yung policies na kinakraft in an agency should be based on kung ano yung purpose ng agency mo. Ano
Yes.
kasi yan usually if there is a calling ba, parang ano yung purpose ng agency mo, dyan nakalodge yung goals at saka yung objectives ng agency. Right?
Yes po.
So, once you have identified kung ano yung purpose ng agency, ano yung goal nyo, ano yung mission and vision statements nyo, ano yung objectives nyo, what do you value as an agency? You then base your implementing rules or regulations in your agency in line with your goal and your objectives. Mahirap naman din na hindi, di ba? Okay. So letter B, policy should also be expressed in a positive form.
Tama,
Para
ma'am.
hindi dictatorship yung yung magiging, para hindi siya para mas positive and progressive yung how you look at your policies, how you look at your implementing rules and regulations. It should also be easy to understand, parang hindi ka mahihirapan magbasa. Yun yung isa sa mga magagandang policies, no? Isa sa mga magagandang characteristics of a policy, kailangan understandable siya. It should be smart. It should also be relevant to the purpose of your agency. And letter C, most especially in democratic, or if an agency is employing an adhocracy, spelling adhocracy. This is bureaucratic and democratic. So depende na yan kung ano yung nature ng agency that you are working with, no. There are agencies that take into consideration kung ano yung inputs ng mga taong nasa nasa direct service. they also ask inputs from people who are working in the supervisory level. So yan, may levels kasi yan, different levels yan eh. And letter D, this can also be true. Most especially if yung agency mo, it's a private agency and it requires specialty and close collaboration, no, with specialists or professionals, no, or concerned stakeholders. So usually that's what usually composes board of directors. So this can also be true. So in short, may bonus na naman tayo.
Bonus, ma'am. Medyo siguro kuno lang, ma'am, yung tanong.
Kinulang ng kain. Yeah. Kinulang yung...
Kasi pag nilagay siguro, kasi pagka private agency, ma'am, ano do sa letter D kasama siya. Hindi kasama yung C. Pero pagka kasama po yung ano. Kaya siguro kuno lang na yung tanong mo. Kasi base siguro kung nasaan kami nakaposisyon, yung sagot namin.
Yeah. Well, oo nga, no.
Kasi
also,
actual ko namin sa private kami government, nakasama ang board. Ang hindi kasama sa decision sa policy, yung hindi lahat ito letter C. Kaya inalis ko siya.
Okay.
Pero kapag yung iba naman pala binababa yung advocacy na Kaya yun to, ma'am.
Yes. There are agencies naman na democratic by nature. Hopefully we can identify examples, no. Kung ano yung mga klase na agency. I think there are also private agencies that are democratic, di ba? That was mentioned kanina by someone, I forgot her name. Na sabi niya she's working in a private agency and democratic naman yung administration nila. So this can also be true for both public, private, or semi-private or semi-public na mga agencies. Depende na talaga yan. Yeah. Also, mabuti no na what I would advise also is to read lang kasi usually yung questions in SWPPS very objective siya kung ano yung nasa papel, ano yung nasa libro. Yun yung fina-follow niya.
Amin yung company, ma'am, bureaucratic. Binababa lang sa amin yung policy, hindi kami kasama. Galing lang sa board, sa mga management. Yung baba, susunod lang kami kung ano yung binabang policy.
Oo.
Yun po yung aming company. Kaya inalis ko yung letter C.
Okay. So that's one of the examples of a bureaucratic na administration. While they have their own advantages and disadvantages, no. Sa bureaucratic, I think mas centralized yung management and yung administration, no. Whereas yung democratic, it probably takes marami pang i-consider because you're taking into consideration many views and points, no, and many hindi lang, it's not just coming from one source, but marami kang kino-consider with democratic na agencies. Okay. Sige, proceed na tayo. May chat pa ba? Walang chat. Sige, proceed tayo with number 46, RA 11469. So, tandaan niyo to kasi lumabas to sa previous board exam. So, this is the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act. Okay. RA 9262. This is the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. Okay. Sige, ano pa? Ano si RA 11310?
Pantawid po.
Pantawid po, ma'am.
For peace, ma'am.
Napantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program Act. I advise you to also read yung mga laws na nasa orange book. Ayan lang, scan nyo lang. Huwag nyo memorize lahat. Familiar lang. Okay, familiar to siya. Kasi lumabas chika lang ako. Lumabas si RA, nasa women yun, na sector, women na field. Parang RA 6 something. Parang
9-7.
something rate. Pa?
RA 9710, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. I remember, parang mali ako dun. Lumabas si RA 6, I think, 6525. 6955. Yeah. 6955. Lumabas si RA 6955. An act to declare unlawful practice of matching Filipino women for marriage to foreign nationals. I also remember in my experience, I was so sleepy during SWPPS.
Ang daming batas, ma'am, pero 3 lang kung minsan lumalabas. Tsambahan.
Saan pong section sa Orange Book? Nasa chapter 2. Chapter 2? Chapter 3. Yeah, chapter 2. Page 40 until page 50. Pero wag niyo memorize lahat na. Basahin niyo lang. Para ma-familiar kayo. Usually yung lumabas sa SWPPS, you're given a sample case. Tapos, you're asked what type of activities are best applied in this case. So parang community education and training na parang nakalin siya sa community education and training. And may lumabas na theories in administration, may lumabas na a little bit about research, yeah, kung anong types of research is conducted. You're given a sample case and you're made to identify anong klaseng yun.
Kaya lang ngayon,
What
ma'am, di ba
else?
general ang rating? Wala sa specific area.
Ang alin po?
Ang pagbigay ng rate ng PRC. Parang general rating lang. Tama ba, ma'am?
What do you mean general rating po, ma'am?
Kung ano na yung pinaka-grade mo, rate mo doon sa 5 curriculum.
You can, may binibigay naman sila na score for each area. So, kung ano yung score mo sa HBSE.
Saan po nakuha yun, ma'am?
May link sila sa PRC where you can access kung ano yung score mo for each area.
Okay.
Oo, nakalimutan ko yung link. I-search niyo na lang, nasa PRC yan.
Okay, salamat po,
After,
ma'am. Ano pong
sige,
anong link, ma'am? Rate per area? Ano nakalagay?
I'm going to check nakalimutan ko kasi I also finorward lang din yun sa kasama ko yung link.
Oo nga, ma'am.
I'm going to try and search for it.
Sige, ma'am. Para
Sige.
may idea kasi maliit na lang yung kulang sa akin eh.
Okay.
Oo.
You were able to
Last
also
February
take
po.
the quiz.
Tapos August na cancel.
Oo. Sige.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Okay po. Sige, ano pa? Nasa SWPPS. May confusion pa ba? So same with group work, no? I think the answer key is going to be provided naman din to all of you. So, just be familiar with recent na yung mga recent lang na ganap. Probably dating 2020, 2021, pero yung mga relevant na mga happenings in the Philippines, not just recent, pero yung mga recent, yung mga relevant and significant ng mga um nangyayari sa Pilipinas. I also remember may lumabas na case about EDSA, may lumabas na case about Marawi Siege. Pero ano lang, usually the question is anong best na gawin ni social worker in this case? Parang ganun. Anyway, what else? Remember to drink water before and during lunchtime. Inom kayo ng tubig when you're taking the board exam. Matulog kayo before day 1 kasi I remember day 1 antok na antok ako. May items nga ako na may items ako na naman na shade. Kasi I was so sleepy. Tapos I was reading number 37 tapos yung na-shade ko number 36, number 38. So ganun ako kalutaw. Sige lang. May questions pa po ba? Ano pa? When you're feeling sleepy, you can drink water or eat something sweet. Dala kayo ng chocolate.
Ako mamirap matulog.
Okay. Mahirap kayo matulog. Yeah, that's
May sleep disorder po ako, ma'am.
Okay.
Nagigising po ako natutulog ako ng 10 or 11. 10, nagigising po ako ng 1:30 or 2 every day.
Ang hirap naman nun.
Tapos, whole day din ako nakakatulog.
Okay.
Kaya medyo nahirapan po talaga.
Pero what do you do so you could gain enough rest? So do you take power naps?
Yung power nap po. Pagka, halimbawa, feel kong naantok ako, dapat maitulog ko siya.
Ate, pwede mo i-try ang Bluternate para makatulog ka.
Ano yung sleeping pills? Sleeping pills po ba yun?
Ay, Bluternate po, ate.
Sleeping pills po ba yun, ma'am? Hindi.
Dahon po yan. Bulaklak.
Halaman po yan, ma'am. Halaman.
Saan kaya makita? Sige po, hanapin
Sige,
ko po yung Gluternate po, ma'am.
I hope you
Mindanao lang
can,
po yan marami, ma'am.
I hope you can get enough rest. Para well rested ka when you take the board exam. Pero yung kasama ko, yung classmate namin, nakatulog siya during the board exam, pero okay naman din. Naka-answer naman din siya. Nakapasar naman din. Si Kuya Paul. Nakatulog. Makatulog yung kakatulog yung ayaw ko board exam. What else? Also, if there is an opportunity, you have to practice now taking tests para the actual board exam, hindi na kayo masyado na-intimidate sa questionnaire. Yung questionnaire naman, 15, 16.
Lala si ma'am. Nawala si ma'am?
Wala natang signal si ma'am.
Nawala nga.
Tapos na ata.
Out po daw sa kanila. Nag-plan out daw po kila ma'am. Wala yung signal.
Wala na charge.
And meeting ko na lang po, nawala na po si ma'am. Good night po.
Salamat po.
Thank you rin po. Good night.